you guys if we got more NBA 2K20 info, I'd be back. And now post scores are nerfed. We got badges like Pick and Roll Maestro and Tireless Scorer removed. And we have brand new badges like Fancy Footwork and more. So let's get in.
I'm feeling your energy, and shorty, man, she really into me. I got lots of enemies, and they wanna act like they friends with me. I came up from bummy.
Yo, what's up, guys? It is PowerGotGame back with another video. Now, in my last video, I dropped some in-depth info about all the 80 badges in NBA 2K19. I told you about a lot of the new badge names. I told you about some old badges that were removed. I told you guys a lot about the takeover, and I went in very detailed about what those changes may mean for NBA 2K20. Now, I thought the gameplay developer of 2K, Mike Wang, was done dropping info, because before that, he probably hadn't tweeted in about a month. He was just saying nothing. He was silent. But after that video went up, he just kept dropping more bombs about everything. Not only the new badges, but takeover, just kind of how overpowered it was, the shot meter, and just so many other features in the game. So I kind of wanted to go in more detail, and I wanted to explain to you guys like some of the new stuff he revealed. So if you guys didn't watch my last video, you guys can watch that in the description again if you guys want to see that. But I'm gonna get straight into all this new info we got. So the first big thing is there's a badge called Fancy Footwork. So somebody asked, Epaluba, is Euro Specialist going to be in 2K20? And first of all, I played 2K19 heavy. I didn't even know there was a badge called Euro Specialist. Is that like a thing? Is that an old badge or something? Is Euro Specialist going to be in 2K20, or is it still going to be called Acrobat? Oh, okay. So I guess it's just called Acrobat. Alright, so there's a badge called Fancy Footwork that helps you get past defenders with advanced gathers on the floor. And Acrobat is still there to help you finish at the rim. Alright, so what it seems like here is Fancy Footwork is going to help you like get past the defenders, and Acrobat is going to help you finish. But some of these bad names, the main thing I know is like, who's coming up with these crazy names? I almost feel like we're being trolled in a sense, bro, because Fancy Footwork, Acrobat, I mean Acrobat is still in there, but Fancy Footwork, Space Creator, it was last video. There's a lot of new badge names I'm gonna show you. It's like some of these badges just don't seem real. Like Clamps just by itself being a badge name, like it's crazy. So also the next thing, this is another thing right here. So somebody tweeted at Mike Wayne. They said, will Tireless Scorer still be a badge in 2K20? Also, will badges still have levels that vary from bronze to Hall of Fame? And this is a big question I had about like the bronze to Hall of Fame stuff. So Baluba said Tireless Scorer was removed. So Tireless Scorer is completely out of the game, guys, and its feature was broken up into two separate badges: Relentless Finisher and Tireless Shooter. And yes, badges still have 4 levels. So what I'm understanding here is basically Tireless Scorer is just like splitting it up. So Relentless Finisher is when you're tired at the hoop and you try to make badges when you're tired, like layups, dunks, all of that. That's Relentless Finisher. And Tireless Shooter is basically when you shoot a shot and you're tired. So you need 2 total badges for that. Before last year, it was kind of like they're all the same badge. That's why I'm trying to tell people, like, a lot of these new badges, they just split a badge into 2 different things. Or even if the same badge is still there, it's completely different. It does less than it did before. So we can't make assumptions about these badges. And he said, he finished off and said, and yes, badges still have 4 levels. Now, what I thought was curious about this, maybe I'm reading too much into it, guys, but the guy asked him, does it vary from bronze to Hall of Fame? But he just said 4 levels. So are the levels still called bronze, silver, gold, and Hall of Fame, or is it the levels different names? Because he didn't say Hall of Fame or say bronze. So maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that's something to pay attention to as we get more info. So another new thing about the badge is Pick and Roll Maestro is gone and replaced by Needle Threader. So here's what I'm trying to understand. He said, which does a similar thing but extends to other passing situations, not just limited to pick and roll situations. Now, how I understood Pick and Roll Maestro is it did help you with like passing off the pick and roll, but I thought it helped you with shooting too. So you would set if you come off the screen and shoot, it would boost that. So Needle Threader sounds like it's completely different. It's only passing. So basically it sounds like to me, if you just pass in a tight situation, it might not get stolen if you have this Needle Threader badge. So that's what he was talking about with the passing badges. These are some of the new passing badges in the game. So just extending off that passing badges thing, he said some stuff about Dimer. So somebody was asking about, is this Needle Threader badge all passing badges into one, or is there still Dimer and Flashy Passer separately? And he said Dimer and Flashy Passer are separate and still in the game. So at least those badges are still in the game. I was wondering, kind of seeing if they were going to take out Dimer out of the game and how that would affect stuff. So a big thing that I want to kind of transition to is the post scoring takeover. So there was a lot of discussion about that, and people were wondering, okay, so what are they gonna do about this overpowered takeover? And I was kind of alluding to it last video where I was talking about the overpowered takeover, like the post score, like the stretch. It seems like everything in the game, all the takeovers were like takeover, the game is over. That's why I say all the time, it's literally like that. It's like takeover is an automatic cheat code. So what Zach Timmerman, he's got the 2K developer that specializes in the post game and everything. So Beluber asked him to pitch it on the post game. He said, post hop shots will go in based only on timing and how well contested you are. You can counter moves, drop, stop, spins, and drives if you quickly move the left stick in the direction the ball handler is moving to shift the existing result more in your favor, but you have to react quickly. Now, I like how they added some counters because it seems like last time you were just powerless to guard post moves. But I still want to hear more about this takeover because takeover was literally unstoppable. So what he said was some of the more elbowing post moves. And I'm assuming what he means by elbowing is the moves where you literally just shoved people out of the way. The ones that obliterate the defender during takeover were removed today. You'll see them in the demo, but you won't see them in the final product. So this is big. When you get the demo, because the demo drops August 21st, if you make a post score, you're going to still be able to do those moves. So you're still going to be able to push people out of the way, all of that. I don't know why it took them. Why are they just changing this? First of all, why haven't they been done this? But you won't see them in the final product. So they won't be in the actual game, but they will be in the demo. So don't make a post score, say, oh, I can do all these overpowered moves. And then when the game actually drops, you can't do any of them. So he expanded on that a little bit because a lot of people were asking, okay, so they're taking this out of the game, but you're not going to make post scores completely useless. So for the post scores, the people that actually like making post scores, he said spins, drives, drop steps, etc. are still effective post scorer moves, as are shots. They will dust defenders enough to give you room to make something happen, but it's more balanced, less sending defenders off the screen. And this is personally how I think it should be. Like, I feel like if you get post scoring takeover, you should make more shots. Your moves should be more effective, but it shouldn't be a cheat code where I get an automatic dunk. I get a wide open shot just because I have post scoring takeover. So this sounds like a step in a good direction. It's not like post scoring takeover is going to be powerless. It's still going to help you. Like, maybe you should make more post phase. Maybe your drop step should be better, but I should have a chance to still be able to defend you, even if you activate or you use any takeover in the game, not just post score, in my opinion. So that's big. That's more info about the post score and takeover. Okay, so the next thing that Beluber Mike Wang went into was the shot meter. So he said, I'm working on making the shot meter off option into a pro gamer setting. High risk / reward. If you can hit the excellent window, huge shot percentage boost. But if you're a couple frames off, you'll most likely miss. Now, I kind of feel kind of iffy about this. I'm going to be honest. Like, I like how they're rewarding people for taking the shot meter off. But at the same time, I feel like this could be used in the wrong way or as a cheat code. Because I feel like a lot of shot meter, I feel like it's easy to shoot in this game. Like, it's easy to get a good release. It's easy to get greens. So I don't want it to be like, okay, so I have shot meter off. And then I can just go into play with a 33-pointer. And because I know my release on a shot meter off with these easy cheese jump shots with the highest green window that I got off NBA 2K Labs, now I can make every shot with a 33-pointer. So I kind of like how it's rewarding people, but I feel like it's way too easy to time your jump shot. So I don't want it to become a situation where, okay, just because I have the shot meter off option, it's going to make me be able to shoot. But I like how but if you're a couple frames off, you're most likely miss. The problem is I just feel like it's way too easy to shoot. So we're gonna see how this turns off. If they do it properly, it can work well, but it kind of makes me a little bit nervous just thinking about that, man. And I'm just thinking about it a little bit. I didn't really understand what they meant when they said if you can hit the excellent window, because my understanding is excellent window, especially if you're a high 3-point shooter, 86 plus, that's a green, so that automatically goes in. So how are they, if you get a green, then how are you going to get a huge shot percentage boost on top of a green? So maybe it's a different mechanic than it was in 2K19, but that's something that also really confused me about that. Alright, so the next thing I did want to go into, just kind of like shortly, we're going to see about is what Beluber was saying about kind of like, literally, like he was asking us about how like the shot timing should talk about. So he said, literally, he basically was saying, quick note about shot timing in NBA 2K20. Penalties for poor timing get stricter the further you are from the hoop. Yes, layup timing is in the game, but poor timing in close doesn't hurt you too bad. But bad timing on threes will lead to a lot of bricking. So the main thing that people were asking about that is basically, isn't that how it was already? Because you didn't really miss layups when you were in close. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can mistime your layup and it was still going all the time. But he explained that he kind of said some more stuff. He said, no, it never worked this way. Layups had one set of bonuses and penalties, and shots had their set. It was never a sliding scale based on distance. Probably should have been, though. And this is big, what you guys probably understand. So what does this mean? Like, how is this going to affect? What this means is, okay, so maybe not only can I mistime layups, but you could probably mistime like a close end shot. So let's say there was a lot of times where you would miss shots, like it was like 2 feet away from the basket, and you would just miss it because you mistimed it a little bit. It seems like now, if it's close to the basket, the timing won't really matter. But if you're gonna take those threes, then timing is gonna matter a lot. You can't mistime a 3 and expect it to go in. So all close shots, the timing won't matter. It's not just layups. It's not just the type of shot. So that's what the main difference is going to be there. I kind of like that, to be honest, because I don't feel like you should be able to just take a 3 and mistime it and it goes in all the time. But I also feel like if it's close, just give people a little leeway, because you're an NBA player. I'm gonna make those close shots. The time, I don't care who you are. If you're an NBA player out here, then you should make those shots if it's like right close to the basket, wide open. That's how I personally feel. So Mike Wang was also talking on Twitter, guys, just a little bit about kind of like how the shooting is going to be next year. And I responded heavy on this. So he said, on a scale of 0 to 100, 0 being no defense, 100 being completely smothered, at what point should green releases be locked out? Now, I replied to this. I was thinking around like 70-ish. So that's why I was kind of thinking of it. So basically, like right and heavily, I don't think you should be able to green heavily. So maybe if it's not that heavily, I really don't think you should be able to green heavily. But the biggest thing for me is, I said, Mike, I think green releases should be locked out based on your rating too. Nobody with a 53-pointer should be greening 3-pointers no matter how open. And I don't know, a lot of people disagree with this. A lot of people agree with this. But I didn't feel like rating should matter. You know what I mean? If I have a certain ball control or speed with ball rating, that allows me to unlock dribble moves. If I have a certain rebounding rating, it makes me rebound better. So I feel like at some point you have to punish people for their ratings. You can't, what's the point of having a high rating if you can just use the same low rating and make the same shot? So I feel like you should have to have a certain rating in order to be greening these shots. You shouldn't be able to, okay, so I'm going to take a 50, 40, 3-point rating and I'm going to just shoot from half court and I know my release. It's in. You know what I mean? You have to punish people and you have to reward people and make these ratings actually matter. Otherwise, the ratings, it's like the ratings that aren't even there. So that was my point, and that was my kind of input on that situation, guys. But we have some more info from Baluba right here. So Baluba went on and he was talking about kind of like the animations and what the animations are going to be like in this game. So basically somebody said, at Baluba, what about vacuum screens? Vacuum screens is, I guess, it like kind of sucks you into the screen. Will screens be worked on and will we be able to dodge them? And Mike Wang said they're much less grabby this year. Better animation content and more branched out points. Feels way better overall. So this is going to upset a lot of people. I'm fine with this because I don't feel like screens should be overpowered. But a lot of people are like, oh, screens suck in 19. We want 17 screens back. Well, they just knock you on the ground. What it sounds like is they're going in the opposite directions. They're making screens even less effective than they were last year. So I don't know. That's kind of up to how you guys feel about that. But I don't like the old thing where like, okay, so you just set a screen and they just completely get knocked to the ground. I was way too overpowered in 17 in my opinion. So another big thing that Baluba was talking about is just kind of like how you can see shooters when they shoot shots and like the green releases and everything. So I talked a little bit about no more lying about fake greens pretty much in the last video, and the link is in the description again. But somebody said should make everyone able to see everyone's shot meter, and he was basically talking about how that's how it's currently set up in 2K20. You see exactly what the shooter sees in online matches. You see the shot meter preferences, you see the green effect, you see all of that. So basically it sounds like in 2K20 it's just like you basically see what the shooter sees. Like it's like you're pretty much like there on their screen kind of. And if you have the no shot meter off, what he said basically was you're gonna see the green effect by itself, but that's pretty much it. So you're not gonna be able to see the shot meter if you have no shot meter. So that's a big thing right there. Now, next thing was microwave. We didn't get to talk about this last video, but somebody said Baluba, even though volume shooter is a positive only, are we gonna have microwave? And that's something, oh, I didn't even get to that part yet. So microwave was redesigned and changed to hot start. If you have this badge and can knock down your first jumper, you get a boost to your shot ratings for a period of time. The more shots you can knock down without missing, the longer you keep your boost. So microwave is not called microwave anymore, it's called hot start, and basically the more shots you knock down in a row, then you keep your boost and you get more boost basically on the microwave. So that sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Microwave last year, wasn't it just like takeover? Yeah, basically you got takeover faster. I remember you had to have microwave because it would take forever to get takeover if it wasn't like that. So it got you hot quicker. So I guess the same hot system works right here. So, but we're gonna see about that. Alright, so next thing was the only positive thing, because I had big questions about volume shooter last video, and I was like, okay, if volume shooter will be fine if it's only a positive badge, but if it becomes a negative badge where, okay, it's going to become cold in certain situations, that's going to probably like ruin the game and make like you not want to get the badge. And Almighty Damon said, at Baluba, where my players still go cold because of lack of shots while having volume shooter in NBA 2K20. And then he just confirmed here it's going to be a positive badge. So that's good news. It's going to be safe to get volume shooter. It's not going to be like the 15-16 badge where it was just like terrible. So the next part is we had a little bit info, kind of like the dribbling and everything. So somebody asked this, how will stamina affect playmakers this year? I understand some players that spam one move, but the advanced skilled dribblers cannot show off their moves because the stamina bar is blinking after 3 moves. And Mike Wang said the handles for days, like I'm saying, these weird badge names. The handles for days badge allows you to pull off a lot more dribble combos before getting fatigued. And then he added on to that, your ability to chain together combo moves slow down as your energy drops. When it drops too low, you start to fumble the ball. So basically, if you have low stamina and you have low energy, you're just gonna start to fumble the ball and you won't be able to do all the dribble moves you do before. So that was a lot of good info right there. And next thing is maybe like the bump stills. This is some small minor stuff right here, but someone asked, at Baluba, will bump stills be nerfed this year? In 2K19, there were a few animations that guaranteed stills 90% of the time, no matter if you had takeover or not. So will the bump stills be nerfed? And he said, we spent a lot of time stopping the bump stills by reworking the still system and improving dribbler / defender interactions. Feels much better to me. So that's huge about the bump stills. I guess like I didn't really get that many bump stills. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I didn't get like a ton of bump stills, but I guess like I can tell if that affected a lot of people. A lot of people just upset about the bump stills if you dribble more. But to me, I didn't really have that issues. I didn't get the ball stolen that much, and maybe it's up maybe by a lockdown. But so I didn't really have that much issue with that. But I guess some people did. So we'll see about that. So basically somebody was asking about the relentless contact finisher, all of that, and somebody said, what's the difference between relentless finisher and contact finisher? Seems like the same function badge. And we talked about that last pretty much like the last video, and it was kind of comparing it to posterizer, because contact finisher is going to replace posterizer. And he said, Mike Wang said, relentless is more energy / fatigue related. Contact finisher boosts your ability to hit the shots. They work hand in hand though. So to me, to kind of explain, it kind of sounds like relentless finisher is just tireless scorer for like close in shots. So basically, if you're tired, it's just going to boost your percentage. But if you're full energy, it doesn't really do anything. And contact finisher is just okay. What I thought was relentless before, like it seems like contact finisher became relentless, and relentless became tireless scorer, because contact finisher is just okay. So I'm gonna be able to finish at the rim, and it just helps me finish contested shots at the rim. So that's where it seems like there. And that's pretty much most of the info, guys. All the info that we basically the main info. There's some small stuff right here, like at Baluba, is Pick Dodger still in the game? Baluba said yes, Pick Dodger is still in the game. But that's pretty much all the main info and the big changes. If there's more info, I'll be sure to let you guys know. I'll be dropping the video quick. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. So make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Drop a comment below about what you guys think about all the changes, any concerns you have about it, what you like, what you don't like. I'll be reading all the comments and I will be replying to it. But appreciate you guys watching, and I am out, man.
I can't be trusting cause people be switching and stunting. I had to go get me some money, they always was fronting. I had to stay up to sign, I never trust, I've been nice. She seeing that drip on the ball, make sure she won't call.